of time left on this stupid memory thing. So I wanted to talk about a couple things. I asked back in chapter 30. Nobody answered, and I don't suppose nobody's going to answer, but if you felt so inclined, in chapter 30 I said a biblical principle, biblical law was violated, both Old and New Testament. What was it? And I commented about how oftentimes when I'm reading fictional stories, I see biblical laws broken, that whether wittingly or unwittingly, the author brings it back in around the story later on, and there's ramifications to that biblical law being fulfilled or broken, either way. So anyway, somebody wants to chime in on that before we hit the end of that situation, let me know. Chapter 30. And several chapters since then. One since then, another one, and then this chapter had something on it. So anyway, decisions as to how to go about bringing people into a community. Initially, it's just like who gets. I've had a rule in my family for many, many years. Operating on a shoestring budget, which is everybody's going to be, or most people are going to be. A lot of people are going to be because they waited too long, blah, blah, blah. So that's what my whole focus has been trying to figure out how to make things work with as least investment possible. I went shooting one time with a guy, and the guy next to me had a stainless steel Weatherby 300 Magnum Leopold scope, total gun scope, probably at that time $1,800, maybe $2,000. Let's say $2,000, probably pretty close. I was shooting a $50 Mosin Nagant. At 100 yards, he put in a group that would just about cover this right here. I put in a group that I had to look at it very closely to figure out that there were 3 rounds. 2 of the rounds were barely off center of a .30 caliber hole. In other words, the hole was about that wide. It was about that wide, and it was about that long. Okay? That wide, that long. You could cover all 3 holes with a dime. 3 rounds, almost 1 hole. Dime covered. His group was 3.5 inches. I looked at him and I said, and how many of these could you have bought for what you paid for that? And he says, well, I'm going for firepower, like penetration and everything, whatever. If he was really going for penetration, you would get a .338 because that's the smallest caliber that you can get large game, tungsten core ammunition for hunting big game in Africa with. Anyway, SKS versus AK, SKS versus AR-15, definitely, less expensive rifle, arm everybody in your family versus arming one person and being all alone, the lone armed person, which is not cool. If you can afford 15 SKSs, great, if you can afford 15 AR-15s for your whole family, extended family, great. I have 5 children, I have 12 grandchildren at this point, and growing clan, so not that I'm going to buy them from here on out, but I mean, if it comes down to it, I'm going to choose to help as many people as possible. A salt pipe made out of a salt shaker from, what I say, N-Joy, capital N-J-O-Y. Get 96 of them for $72, 75 cents a piece, ready to go. Put sea salt in them, dump the salt out, put sea salt in them, boom. 96 people. You can save 96 people's lives. They can have them with them 24 hours a day. They're cheap. If they drop it, it's not going to break, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, cover as many bases as possible, help as many people as possible. So decisions are going to have to be made quickly, instinctively in many cases, but a lot of what I'm going to say is that initially people are going to be there and people are going to come and you're going to have to deal with them as they come in. Okay, that's one point, which is where I'm at right now. How do I decide? Well, gee, do I go through and have a long list of 30-page application? Do you have to have this amount of money? I'm just saying, hey, get here how you can get here, help out where you can help out. That's pretty much where it's at right now. We can refine that later. No, I'm not going to go the route of high operational security right now because I don't see that applying in my life. God is calling people. They come, they get here. If your word is good, If you tell me that you're going to watch my back and you don't, then I know that your word is maybe not worth what you said it was. If you tell me I'm the leader and then I find out that you want to rule, then your word isn't what it was, what it should have been. And if you tell me you're a hard worker and you slough off, you know, or if you say I can stay up all night and da-da-da-da, and you fall asleep on the first time on guard duty like Craig Banks or whatever, you know, in the story, if you say one thing and you do something else, then, you know, sucks for you. But point is, you know, we're going to have to make decisions as people come in and deal with them on an individual basis. So, you know, we need to be thinking about community and helping people, and initially we need to get rolling on that whole program. We need to buy land. Yes, we need to do this. We need to do that. I have people looking at land. We need to get a few people together and buy a bigger chunk of land for sure. So this is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant. Please get in touch with me.